How's it, Sean from Combat Simulations? Welcome to the Getting Started for the Grenada Getting Started scenario. So before we get started, please subscribe to my channel. It's free, and also leave comments and suggestions, and watch my videos and like them and share them. Helps me a lot, I promise. All right, so getting started. Jeff Connor is the scenario designer. The scenario is called Gun Jeeps. It's 8 turns, platoon level, normal day conditions, and best played as the US. Alright, so let's just read the notes here. The Rangers landed by parachute just before dawn at Point Salines Airfield. This decision was made in the air, as it was not until the command EC-130 approached the island that it was learned that the runway was blocked. Consequently, the Rangers' vehicles were not set up for an airdrop, and they returned to Barbados with the planes. One of the Rangers' priorities was clearing the runway and the high ground around it. This was accomplished to the point where a C-130 could land at about 10 a.m. The Rangers, as well as the 82nd Airborne, used the jeeps mounted with M60 machine guns as recon vehicles. They were to move the troops rapidly to a point where they could dismount and scout the enemy. They were not intended to be fighting vehicles. The machine gun was only to provide suppressive fire if they needed to retreat in a hurry. One of the first patrols sent out was from A Company. The single jeep with 5 Rangers was to rescue a crossroad just to the east of the True Blue campus. Unfortunately, the campus sat in a small depression and the Rangers did not see it. They traveled more than a mile into enemy territory before they realized their mistake. They turned around and tried to make it back to the friendly lines. The Grenadans had spotted the lone jeep, however, and set up an ambush. Only one of the Rangers made it back to the airfield. He was wounded and carrying a Russian light machine gun. This scenario is based on that action, but has been made slightly larger for playability purposes. It was intended to be played as a US player against the AI while referring to the Getting Started document. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to keep it at the automatic fog of war on. Okay, we're not going to change the rules, and we're going to go in. Okay, support exists for the scenario. The scenario has a smoke limit of 12 and the scenario has an illumination limit of 12. Right, let's get the getting started. So we can make it larger. Where are we now? Fit visible. Okay, getting started with Squad Battles, Grenada. Welcome to the free demo of the Squad Battles game series. This title covers the United States intervention on the island of Grenada in October 1983. You will command the US forces in the scenario. This file contains instructions on how you get started in Grenada. Okay, so this is all the what we did in the beginning. It's just teaching us all this and reading the notes and all this. This just explains that. And then he picks automatic with what we picked, but he said you can play it as well with automatic and no fog of war, because there is a EC-130 aircraft loitering in the area, so it's not so bad. But we switch it off because that's how we like to play. You know, you want your games to have fog of war. Okay, then there's optional rules. We left optionals as it was. And yeah, the support dialogue exists in the scenario. The support refers to airstrikes and off-map artillery. The screen also informs us that there's a smoke limit of and an illumination limit of 12 each. Click OK to acknowledge this, and we'll come back to these items after we cover some of the basics. Now we see the battlefield. Troops if you wish to scroll around the map with ease, you click on the menu list at the top called Settings and click on Auto Scroll unless it already has a check mark. You can now simply run your mouse pointer to any corner of the map, as we can there, and we can move this way and that way and whatever. Okay, and move it to the end of the screen. You'll see there are 5 stacks of American units in the upper right hand side of the map. This is your patrol. 4 of these stacks contain a gun jeep and a fire team riding in the vehicle. The 4th is an unarmored jeep containing the patrol leader, you, us, and his sergeant and a radio man. Let's take a look at the map let's take a look at the map before returning to the troops. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, we see it here. There's actually, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. On the west edge of the map is the Point Salines Airfield. This is where your patrol started and is behind friendly lines. Just to the east of the airfield, let's see if we can see that Point Salines. Move this side. Okay, where are we now? No, we don't want to go in. Where am I now? Oh, there we go. There's Salines runway. Okay, so that's that there. This is where your patrol started, and it's behind enemy friendly lines. Just to the east of the airfield is the True Blue campus. Yeah, there's it, True Blue, of the St. George's Medical School. Okay. The cluster of buildings is also thought to be in friendly control. Slightly to the right center of the map is another cluster of buildings labeled Company A Day 1 Objective. There we go. There's Company A Company Day 1 Objective. In one of the hexes is a flag that has 20 below it. This is an objective. The number tells us how many victory points the objective is worth. The flag tells you that it's controlled by the Cuban and Grenadan side. If you should occupy this objective, the flag would change and points will be awarded. So there we are. Oh, not so far. There it is. Okay, good. Will be awarded. If you look at the west edge of the map, you will see two American boxes with the 0 below each one. A value of 0 indicates that these are a different type of objective called an exit objective. We gain victory points if we can remove our units from the map at one of these hexes. Let's just see on this side. Okay, there's the victory. See my masters. These are the victory hexes. The exit hexes. All right, so this represents your patrol returning to friendly lines. Once in position, use the remove units toolbar or through the command menu at the top. Okay, so it means, yeah. So we click on command and we do remove from map. So we put the units going there, and that's how we exit out of this map. Okay, if you want more information on objective strength or victory status, click on the info button at the top of the screen. Also, if you depress the backquote key or the tilde key, you will toggle the labels denoting various locations on the map. You can also do this on the labels button in the toolbar. So it means here, what did he say there before? Yeah, if you want more information, okay, so he's talking about this here. So we can get, sorry, there it is, info. So we can get the victory objectives here. We can get the objectives. It lists all of them. Those are to exit, and that's a Grenada one for 20. And, sorry, info, and then we get the strength. This is kind of like a organization table. Nicely laid out, so you can see precisely the men carry, the weapons, the leaders, all nice. That's actually quite nice. And it has a little help button. I think that help button opens up the manual. And then he says, oh, that's it. This will toggle the labels denoting various locations on the map. He's talking about this. Yeah, so this is our label, you know, showing labels and information on the map. Notice also that you can zoom in and out of the map with the mouse wheel. We know that. Numbers keys 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to zoom in. Using the zoom out key lets you survey the map quicker and get that big picture. It allows us to be aware of potential dangers and opportunities. You may also use the plus and the minus buttons on the toolbar to make your selection from the view. Yeah, okay, but I've got a mouse wheel, so most computers have a mouse wheel, so we understand that the mouse wheel is and if you said, yeah, press 1, 2, the numbers 3. See, I'm pressing these numbers and I'm going deeper and higher and back out. And okay, so that's taking us out. Just zoom in there, and he says there's plus keys. Oh, they're up here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Plus, plus, minus, minus. You see what I'm pressing there? Okay, so that's sorted that out. As you examine the map, note that besides the buildings, there are types of terrain related to the vegetation. These include brush, trees, jungle. If you left-click on a hex, the terrain type will be displayed in the hex info area on the lower right of your monitor. Let's just see if we click here. He's talking about this here. See this? What type of terrain it is, and it tells you what's I don't know what that primary thing is, but there's where you, yeah, so you these are for the roads, primary roads, and where they head off. But you see there for trees, 15 meters, protection, elevation, and visibility. Yeah, so the low side, in addition to the terrain type, the box shows the protective value of the hex, its elevation, and special considerations it might have, such as being an objective. The maximum visibility range of the scenario is also shown. That maximum visibility, we can oh, there you see now it mentions objective, and there we got exit objective. It tells us there. See why I'm pressing my mouse on these objectives. Also, the status bar at the bottom of the screen where other pertinent information such as date and time, such as the date and time of day, number of turns, weather conditions are given to you. Knowing more about what's going on, what your men can do and cannot do, and the terrain you're in can be a big help to you in planning your tactics. Obviously, if an error occurs during play, for example, you try to give a unit a command it is not allowed to execute, the error messages will also display on the lower bar. Okay, so this is right at the bottom here. It's very small. You can hardly see it. See there. 12:30, 25th of October, 1983, the American turn, 1 to 8, and the normal conditions. Right. Yeah, I'm just, yeah. Okay, so that's sorted that out. Same there. Okay, and if you try and do something that's, see, units have been selected in this move, and it tells you the error there. So if you try and do something that's an error, it'll show there too. One thing we need to do before we begin to make plans is to look at the movement costs associated with each terrain. To do so, you need to open the parameter data dialog by selecting it under the help menu or hitting F3. You should pursue I can't this dialog for useful information in addition to movement costs for both infantry and wheeled vehicles. The basic movement cost for open terrain is 6, that's movement points, for infantry, and the same for wheeled vehicles. You may notice that the entries for wheeled vehicles in trees, jungle, and city hexes are 0. This means that wheeled vehicles cannot enter these hex types unless via road or trail, and use the movement cost associated with the road and the trail. So if a road goes through that forest or trees, then you can drive through it. Since there are considerable amounts of these terrain types on our map, this is a good thing to know. Let's go. Okay, so he's talking about this parameter data. See there. So miscellaneous, we've got the miscellaneous infantry allowance movement 24 movement points, terrain elevations, see swamp 10 meters. So basically, yeah, you've got the movement for infantry, movement cost 6 movement points, vineyard it's 12. This is the cost, and you've got all the way down for the movement cost for vehicles as well. You see in rough terrain, orchard 18 movement points, trees 0. So wherever it's 0, it can't move in. This is like the scenario setup. Like all the data for the scenario. Movement for tracked. And of course we've got movement modifier for infantry, modifier for vehicles. So it says soft conditions, mud conditions. Basic protection values, terrain protection values. Different terrain and what the protection values for that are. Very thorough, this, eh? Very, very thorough. Don't mess around with this. And then miscellaneous over there. Okay, that's good. We got all that. Let's go back and examine your command. You will notice that each Jeep has a yellow P on the top of its counter. Oh, it's going to have a look. Yep, there it is. There it is. There's the P's. All right, and we'll just go one out so we know. Let's keep it highlighted there. Okay, has a P on the top of its counter. This indicates the vehicle is carrying passengers. If you click on a stack of units, their portraits will be visible in the unit list at the bottom of the screen. Over here. You're going to see how simple the system is. It's not that complicated, I promise you. It's really, really simple to understand. Any men or weapons to the right of the vehicle are considered loaded on the vehicle. Any weapon to the right of a team or a leader is being carried by that team. So any units to the right of this vehicle is being carried by it. Any vehicle to the right of the team, of the squad, is belonging to that squad, being carried by it. In the picture below, we see that there is a gun jeep, okay, equipped with a 60mm machine gun immediately to the right of the Jeep portrait. So we're gonna, it's this one here we picked, and there's the M60. See there? Yeah, this Jeep is carrying two infantry. Is it carrying two? Well, it's carrying one. Maybe it means this one. All right. Jeep is carrying two infantry. The first is a leader with a M60. Oh, he is talking about that one. You see the picture up here? See up here? He's talking about that one behind it. This one, yeah. So he's talking about that one, not that one. That one. Okay, good. The Jeep is carrying two infantry units. The first is a leader marked with an M16 rifle. Okay, we can see that. You can tell he's a leader by his smaller portrait that is lacking the number of men line found in a fire team or squad sized unit. So he means this. See, there are two men. He doesn't have a two-man yet. But really, this star, you see the star here? Those are any kinds of leaders, lieutenants, sergeants, anybody that's not a troop has got the star. So you can see the star there. See, these are all officers. Well, not officers, but they non-commissioned officers and people that are not troops. They're individual guys, they're not troops. So he means here, you see the two men, this guy hasn't got this two-man thing here. But you can just see by the star. All right. I'm sure that's what it means. I've seen that. I've just picked that up. You can tell this a leader by a smaller portrait here. The second is a two-man team armed with automatic rifle version of the M16A and the M203 grenade launcher and the M72 law rocket. This last weapon is a secondary weapon, meaning that it can be carried in addition to a primary weapon. So it means this can be carried in addition to a primary weapon. It's a secondary weapon. Okay. The ampersand after the 3 means it's more effective against vehicles. The minus sign means it's a single-use weapon as removed once fired. Some secondary weapons such as radios, binoculars, and mine detectors are not removed when they are used. Okay. So ampersand, see on the it's got you can just barely see it, but you see the 3 and the ampersand, and there's a minus. The ampersand means that the minus means it's a single shot weapon, and the ampersand means it's better against vehicles. Just have to remember, once you get to remember that the ampersand better against vehicles and the minus it's a single shot, can only fire once. You just got to get used to that, to those sort of things when they say that on the weapon. Okay, so that's sorted out. Let me just see. Yeah, it can be used. The unit portrait also tells us the number of men in the unit, so the crew size. If it is a vehicle as well as their morale, A is best, and let me just see. Did he oh yeah, approved. Okay, A is best, F is worst. Their status. This decreases as the unit is shot at. It's like status is like being suppressed and stuff like that. And you get suppressed, it goes down. And the number of movement points remaining. Correct. 2 men, morale is A, which is a very good status, 100%, move 24. Simple, eh? If you move your mouse cursor over the unit list and hold down the right mouse button, more information will be provided to you. This reveals other information about your men and especially their weapons, such as, so when you right click, see there, but we're going to go through it. So reliability, REL, ranging from A, the best, to F, the worst. Range, how far your weapon can reach in hexes. Lethality, the effectiveness of the weapon. And penetration refers to the weapon's ability to penetrate the enemy protection. See there, when I right click, there it is. Reliability A, range 9, lethality 36, and penetration 4. See how simple it is, eh? See that? And it's all these weapons. And you'll see now in the thing, you can fire them individually and you can fire, but there's their ratings. And then the troops they with. So you can see that the penetration of the law is 80, much higher than any of the other ones. And the lethality is 35. And the range is 4. And the reliability is 6 on it. But it's a once-off weapon. So you can tell immediately through looking at what these weapons are worth. You may notice a +2 below the load information on the M203 grenade launcher. This tells you that there are 2 other loads available for this weapon. If you highlight this weapon by left clicking and go to the command menu and select weapon load or hotkey Control W, you will see that this weapon has a canister round as well as a 5.56 millimeter small arms round. Let's leave it set to the 40 millimeter HE grenade for now. You may also notice the status for the leaders is listed below the organization. It decreases as the leaders are shot at. Okay, so see there, yeah, by the 203. See the 203 there. See there by the 203. Let me just, yeah. Okay, you see there by the 203. You see the +2. Can you see? I'm gonna see that it says there +2. You see where my mouse is? That means there's extra loads for that. So what we do is we just highlight it. See where I'm clicking on it. See, I can highlight these weapons. And he says Control W. And it gives me that this weapon can fire 40 millimeter canister and 5.56 M16. This is like rifle shot. We're going to leave it in 40 millimeters. So you can pick your ammunition for this. It's fantastic, eh? For a small arms game. You can pick the ammunition you want to use for it. And he had select the command. If you want to do it somewhere else, you can go to command and select the weapon load. Is that right? Yeah, there's the weapon load. Or Control W. And it just lists you. And every time you see the ampersand, the 2 below there means it's got extra. There's other weapons. There's other. See, none of these carry this around. And you see the status of the leader, the person in charge. This goes down as he's shot at. All right. Now that we've examined our command, it's time to look at the victory conditions, the map and the parameter values, and our troops, and try to come up with a plan on how we're going to win this scenario. To see the victory dialog, go to the info menu item and left click on victory, or use Alt Y. If you look at the information under victory values, you'll notice that we need to obtain at least 25 victory points for a minor win. Okay, if we can exit all our units from the exit objectives, we would garner more than 40 points. That's 8 points for the gun jeep, 4. So the points is taken for what the value of each individual item is. 2 for a leader, and that is added up as you go out. Let's go and have a look here. Let's just call out. So we got info and the victory. Simple, eh? And everything's found with the menus. And then these are the shortcuts here. For example, let me give you an idea. If you hold your mouse, it tells you what that is. It's arrived units. And then this here is only for the. This here will only show the combat. This here will only show. It's only relevant to. So I put it on all, but you can see here. This is relevant to the unit. This is relevant to combat. This report. This is relevant to the map. This is relevant to part of the all, and then the highlight is relevant to that. It's just to give you a help, how to help you use the keys. All right, this will give us a major victory if we got all these units out by the exit objectives. It will give us a major victory. However, there's problems with that. Okay. Clearly, this is possible strategy, but however, the routes to the objective access for the jeeps are along roads. Remember, they can't move through jungles and tree terrain, and they are likely to be covered by the enemy. We could also dismount the infantry to try and move through the trees and jungle on foot, but time is a factor, and the jeeps are worth more victory points. There is another possibility, thanks to the 20-point objective that is closer to our starting position. However, it may also be covered by the enemy. We have to make a decision on which route we want to take. The exit objectives can garner us more points, but it's farther to travel and a higher risk, obviously. Okay. In addition, any losses we take will cost victory points as well as reduce the number of men in vehicles. So we lose victory points when our men are shot and killed. So yeah. The closer objective does not get us enough victory points to win, but we are more likely to reach it with our force intact. We'll then have to hold the objective against any enemy counterattacks and destroy at least 5 more points of enemy units than we can lose in order to obtain a minor victory. So if we can kill at least 5 more points of the enemy units, we can get that minor victory. There are many decisions like this to be made in squad battles. Once we figure out which route we're going to take, we have to determine how we're going to travel there. We could remain in our jeep and try and use the speed to minimize our risk, or we could dismount an infantry unit and have the point unit move on foot. If we do this, we can also have the point unit go on ground prone, seek out cover, or move inbounds. This would reduce the possibility of taking losses, but will slow us down to literally a crawl. I'm going to play along with you. Feel free to copy the moves. Yeah, we're going to do that. Even if you elect to copy the moves, the Grenada and defensive fire might provide different results in the game and change the whole outcome. I understand that. So I'm going to start with a point jeep. That's this guy over here. Okay. But start with a point jeep. So we'll read what he does and then we go do it. And then we read what he does and then go do it. Yeah. Because I'm generally conservative when moving into the unknown, I'm going to dismount the recon element and probe forward on foot. To do so, I'm going to select the jeep unit by double-clicking on it. This selects all the units in the X. If there was more than one unit, the loaded vehicle is considered one unit for most purposes. In the X instead, I would left-click on the hex. I will then select the unit I wanted by left-clicking on the unit list. The selected unit is then highlighted. To unload, left-click on the toolbar button at the command menu or select unload drop. You will notice the infantry moves to the left in the list and its counter is now visible on the map. Okay, so we're going to do that. So he's taken the first guy. This is the first oak. So let's do what he does here. So he's talking about this, right? So he's going to highlight this. Now you can do it 2 ways. You can unload or drop, or you could use this one here, which is unload or drop. So we're going to go unload or drop. Okay, we're going to unload. So now he becomes a separate unit. See now. Now you notice, you see what he said there in the beginning, you notice now that he is to the right of the jeep, which means he's not being carried. You just remember that. Everything is being carried by the jeeps. All jeeps are to the right of them. Anything to the left of the jeep of a vehicle is not being, this crew is not being carried by it. So he's to the right of the jeep. So he's not being carried anymore by the jeep. It's just got to just remember that. Okay, then I'm going to move the unit along the road towards the 20-point objective. So he's going to put that unit in front of the objective. There. That's where he's going to put it. But let's just read what he does. Yeah, if it draws fire, the gun jeep can provide suppressive fire while the infantry tries to withdraw. Since time is of the essence, I'm going to move the units standing up, basically running down the road, instead of putting them on the ground. Units that are standing have the lethality of any fire directed at them doubled. So this is the risk. So there's obviously there's a going prone one, standard, and when a normal unit is standing like this, he gets the lethality of the weapons that shoot at him doubled. So this is a risk, yeah. I'm going to take it quickly to find out what I'm up against. Yeah, I'm willing to take it to quickly find. To move the infantry, you select it in the list by left clicking on it. When it's in movement mode rather than fire mode, as seen by the appearance of mouse cursor changing by clicking on the fire and move button in the toolbar, you can then move it either by right clicking on adjacent X or holding the left click on the unit's hex and then dragging the cursor to the hex you want to move the unit to. When you release the mouse button, the AR will move the unit towards the hex. The AR doesn't always do a great job, does not do what you want, so I intend to use the right click method. I'm able to move the unit adjacent to the 20 point objective without drawing any fires. So far so good. So he's talking about this. So here's how we move it. we click on it, so we highlight it. If we right click, see it's highlighted. See where it's not highlighted, you can't click, it has to be highlighted. See, so it's coming down the road. We can let's make sure it follows the road, because I want to run out of points. There, and if we want to move, this other method is holding the left mouse button down hard and placing it there. So you can move it two ways. If you right click on each hex, it follows it, but if you hold the mouse button down on it hard, right, so it's lit, and you hold the left mouse button, and then I'm not going to do that because it's going to muck up the scenario, and then you move it to where you want it, it'll follow, the AR will move it to there. That's so by understanding, that's what he meant there. Okay, but it doesn't go the way it takes the quickest path or whatever, so you can't fine-tune it. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, adjacent to the 20 books. So he's now adjacent. Okay, so he's adjacent, right? So far so good. Since the unit does not have any movement points left, so it's got nothing left, I don't know what awaits in the future. I'm going to have the unit go prone. This can be done selecting unit and clicking on the toggle button in the menu item. This is the icon with the 3 arrows pointing downwards. Once you do that, the selected units will then have a white line at the bottom of the map counter indicating their state. It will also be written on them in the unit list. You can also use the 0 key on the number pad or the Control G key to perform the action. Note, no points are expended when you're going to ground. However, 3 points are required when you need to stand up again. So he means this. See, now we got that, right? I'm going to zoom in there. I'm going to select it, and he means, toggle ground. See that thing there? See all the white, see how he's now gone prone to ground. Now, when somebody shoots at him, they don't shoot at 3 times the penetration value. But when he's standing, these lethality values here are times 3. These lethality values, I think it's the lethality values are times 3. Was that twice? It's directed. It's doubled. Sorry, it's doubled. Let's get the 3. It's doubled. So if he's standing prone, if he's standing and walking around or whatever, every shot at him, like the lethality is doubled, right? But when he's prone, it's just there's no doubling of that. So it's important to go prone. It's important to go prone. That's taking cover and stuff. All right, this icon with the 3, yeah, once we do that, the selected units will then have a white lines at the bottom map indicate this. Okay, we know that. Now I need to move the rest of the units. I moved the now empty Jeep to a position where it can see down the road to the airfield. 28, the hexes are numbered from left to right coordinates. What he means here is these hex. See here. See there where my mouse is there. Those are the mechs. Those are the hex. See how those hex numbers change? That's the hex coordinates. Now he's 22.8. There. So what he's done was, he's now moved that 22.8. You see? I right-clicked on and I highlighted it. Sorry, let me get back here. So that's 22.8. I've moved the second Jeep along the primary road until the intersection with the secondary road, northeast of 20 point objective 23.9. But that's the 22.8. I hope that's right. Okay, so 23. Yeah, so 22.8. That's where we put that Jeep over there. The Jeep took the road for 3 hexes, and then, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, now I can move now the empty Jeep to position where it can do that. Okay, hex 228 is hex. Okay, now he's moved the Jeep. I then moved the second Jeep along the road until the intersection with the secondary road to the northeast of the 23. Jeep took the road for 3 hexes, and the infantry dismounted, entered the town hex to the southeast of the objective 2212. Again, there was no. And I moved the Jeep 1 additional X to the south so they could cover this. So let's just look at the picture here. Pictures always tell. So he's put the infantry there and he's moved the Jeep to there. But he moved it there. He dismounted the infantry. He moved the infantry in there, and then he moved it 1 out. So we just do what he says here. So he's got the second one. Down he comes, down he comes, down he comes, down he comes, down. And he's come all the way down here. Okay, so he's moved to this. Boom. Boom. Then he's dismounted. Let's go prone. Okay, so then he's dismounted the infantry. Well, hang on. I'm going to take that and that. Let's just do that. And he's dismounted the infantry. Right. And he's gone and put the infantry there. So there's the okay, then he's gone and put, there we go, and he's now moved the Jeep 1 down the road. Okay, and he's there we go. So he's got the lieutenant and the corporal and the team there. So that's how he's moved it there. Okay. Yeah, okay, move the Jeep 1 to the south, that's right. But before moving the command Jeep, I selected the platoon leader alone by left clicking on his portrait in the unit, and since the Ratello officer is riding with, also has a radio. Since the Ratello he is riding with, also has the radio. I'm going to have him check the support before he moves. To do so, I clicked on the artillery support icon on the toolbar, Control G. Okay, only leaders can call for support, and they must have a radio type secondary weapon in the same hex, although it's not necessary for them to be carrying it. Like you can have a radio man in the same hex. So let's just check that out. Okay, so he's now here. Yeah, artillery support. But what was the shortcut? Control G. Okay, so I'm highlighting him, and I'm going to press Control G. Oh, no, I didn't get it on my keyboard. Where's the G now? Anyway, press the Control G. I'm going to highlight it with this. Okay. Now, this thing comes up. This is your support dialog. Okay. Okay, so Control G. Only leaders can call for support, and he must have a radio on him, or somebody in the same hex is a radio guy. Right. This brings us support dialog. We can see that we have access to three fire missions of 60mm. So that's 3 missions of 60mm. These are organic to Company A. No other artillery has arrived in Grenada yet. The first fire mission will be available in a minimum of 1 turn after being called, minimum delay, and a maximum of 2 turns after, max delay. So you got the min and max delay. Each mission consists of 6 rounds. Okay, there's the 6 rounds there. There are also 6 airstrike missions available for the AC-130 gunship. Okay, it's also 6 missions, right? Yeah. 6 runs. There are also 6. Okay, let me just see. I'm losing my position. But these could take up to 3 turns to arrive after being called. Okay, so there's the max delay. Fire missions that are not used in a turn become available or that are not used in a turn that they become available are lost and must be called again. So we got to use them on the turn that they come available. Others we got to call them again. Okay, fair enough. So while we have potential targets. So let me just, it's like one long paragraph. So while we have no potential targets for the support right now, I'm going to call for it this turn and hope that there will be something to direct at the next turn or the turn after. To do so, I'm going to select the 60mm mortar entry and hit the call button. If you do the same thing, you will see the word called is added to the entry. You can call as many fire missions from different weapons as you like while the support dialog is open. However, only one mission can be fired per weapon with each call. So leaders can call an unlimited number of support weapons in a single turn, but will expend a third of the available movement points when performing the next step of directing the available fire at a specific target. So they don't spend movement points now. When they direct the target, they'll spend a third of their movement points. So while a single leader can call as many support units as he desires, he can only direct a maximum of maximum of three. That means that because the movement points are 1/3 of his movement points, he can only do direct three, but he can call as many as he wants. Okay, so now let's call that. We're going to call that, and we're going to call it, and you'll see it's now called. All right, so we called it from him. Now move the command jeep along the road towards the objective. You should notice that the jeep's movement points decrease so do the movement points of the passengers. Okay, note that if the platoon leader had called in fire and reduced the movement points. Note if the platoon leader had called in fire and reduced the movement points to 16, this number would remain until the other passengers' movement points allowance caught up. This simulates the leader being on the radio as the jeep drives down the road. If you wanted to try and direct fire support after moving towards the objective, you may not have enough movement points left. Okay, fair enough. If you're moving, you're using movement points. If you're firing, yeah, okay. I stopped the jeep at hex 2111 and had the passengers dismount. 2111. 21, okay, 21:9, 21:10, 21:11. Okay. Is that correct? That's 21:11, right? 21:11. Okay, so I stopped the jeep and had the passengers dismount. Since we have not received any fire from the objective hex yet, I'm fairly confident that the hex does not hold an enemy unit. I'm going to have the platoon sergeant enter the objective hex. It is a central location, and he should be able to rush to any spot on the perimeter where needed. I'm going to move the platoon leader and his radio man to hex 20. Okay, so let's just get the guy out there. All right, so he comes down. Yeah, he's coming down to there. Okay, now I'm going to have him. I'm going to have him and him. It says dismount, right? Unload and drop. Okay, so all those guys are dropped. All right. I'm going fairly confident. It's a central location, and I'm going to move the platoon leader and his radio man to hex 2010. This hex is fairly good line of sight, both to the west and back the way we came. So 2010. Okay, so let's just check this out. 2010. So he's going to move the platoon leader and the radio man. Wait, did I bring the radio man down? I just gotta remember where the hell the radio man is. Oh, yep. You know what? There's a little buttons there. Yeah, yeah. So you gotta remember. Where's my radio man? I don't understand. Oh, there he is. See this side here? I was just like wondering, where's my radio man, man? Where's my radio man? So we want the platoon leader. Is it that one that called it? Yeah. Platoon and his radio man. I'm going to move the platoon and his radio man. So let's just find the platoon. I've highlighted him and his radio man. And I'm going to move it to there. Oh, you can't move. Let me just see something. Am I pressing something wrong? Yeah. Okay, there he is. So him and him. Why can't I move into the radio? He's got to move 12 and he's got... Oh, I've got to bloody... Jeez, I've got to unload them, man. Yes, unload them. Okay. There we go. And him. Yeah. Shit. You got to unload these guys. Okay, so him and his radio man are there now. Alright, so we've unloaded him. Okay. Yeah, this makes a fairly good line of sight in both west and back on the way we came. We can check the line of sight. Click on the visible hexes button on the toolbar or use the V. This highlights every hex that is visible from the currently selected hex or hotspot. This is a valuable tool and should be used often, especially when setting up a defensive position or figuring out how to attack one. I'm going to move the Jeep. Okay, let's just do that. So he means this V. V? Or you press that. So if you look... That's the line of sight. That's the line of sight. If we click on here, that's the line of sight. You see, that's what he can see. That's brilliant. Eh? That's what he can see. See when you see. And now what's nice about this is if you press any hex, and I love this feature. Like exactly, for example, if you want to look from here, what you can see. From here, what can I see? Can't see anything here. I can see that. I can see this, and I can see up to here. That's brilliant. You press it this one or the V key. Okay, I'm going to move the next Jeep. Well, hang on. Okay, check the line. I said the highlights of hotspot. There's available tool to use it, setting up a defense and figure out how to attack one. I'm going to move the next Jeep in line to X2210, where the fire team and leader will dismount and enter the city hex to the south. I then continue to move the Jeep to hex as soon as the Jeep let's just see if he's got a picture. Okay, so he's got the X there. Okay. I'm going to move the Jeep in line, the next Jeep in line, so that's at the top there, to hex 22-9, where the fire team and the leader will dismount and enter the city hex to the south. I then continue to move the Jeep to the hex 1913 as soon as the Jeep entered the hex. As soon as the Grenadas entered the engaged in some opportunity fire at the bottom of the hexes, 12, 18, yeah. I can now see the enemy units on the map. Both are hidden and they are fired until they fired. They were hidden until they fired. If I left click on either jungle hex, the enemy units are shown in the unit list. There's not a whole lot of information available, but I know that both units are composed of between 1 and 9 men. If there had been 10 or more, I would have seen it as shown as 1 X men. They're armed with RPG 7 anti-tank weapons. They may have other weapons too. My Jeep is lucky not to be a smoking wreck. Rather than leave the Jeep next to the enemy, I've just enough points. Okay, let's just have a look. So he's moved this. He's moved the next one in line. I'm just going to move this now. I'm going to move the next Jeep in line to X22-9. So let's just get that thing moved. 22-9. Where's 22-9? 22-9. So he's going to move it to 22-9. Yeah. and where the fire team and the leader will dismount and enter the city hex to the south. Now, which is the city? He's talking about this hex. Let's just see where he ends up so I can just see what he's... Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's going to enter the city hex to the south. So he basically gets to there and he loads off this lot over there. Okay, so the city hex of the town. So 922. So he's going to move this one. Alright, just highlight it. Okay. I want to see something. Where's that? 22.9, right? Now he's going to dismount. Okay, let's see, just check him dismount. Unload, right? Okay. And then he's going to take those and move them there. That's what he's going to do with that. Alright. There's still one more Jeep up top here. Okay, so that part's done. Oh, sorry, man. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to next in line that one, the opportunity for... Oh, I'm just, I don't get it. There's a whole lot of information available. Okay. So what he's done is he's taken this Jeep there. And he's put him down there. Okay, so he's moved it to 20. Yeah, where's this place? 20 there. So this Jeep here to there. But it hasn't encountered any. I moved the last Jeep to hex 29 and have the infantry dismount. Then they can move into the trees at. So he has this one. So where does he move? 21. 21. 9. So 21 9. 21 9. So he gets that next Jeep. Okay, let's just make sure. This is a good place to point out the vehicles have a facing. Okay, so he moved that. My Jeep is lucky not to have been smoking. Rather than move next to him, I have just enough points to move out of the line of sight of the bad guys. We haven't... Nothing happened to us. We didn't get a target there. So he got something here. Yeah, in this part where the Jeep was. He discovered. We didn't. This is a good place to point out that vehicles have facing. The yellow arrow will change for vehicles that keep track of their direction. This can be changed manually at any time at a cost using the clockwise, anti-clockwise buttons or the hotkeys. Vehicles that move directly to the rear do so at double the movement. Double the number of movement points but remain facing in the same direction. They are using reverse gear than turning. This is more important for tanks and other armored vehicles that have more armor in front than they do for their sides or rear. You might want to keep that armor pointed towards the enemy when you retreat. Okay. So he says this one, right? So we're gonna I think we move it back, eh? Does he move it back? Okay. Yeah, we came up front, so we got to move back. Right, so we move back to... Yeah. But he's still pointing, because he's just reversing. But what he means is you can turn the... See the clockwise? You can turn the thing. So you can turn... And this arrow, this is the pointing arrow. This is the arrows meaning he's pointing this way. He's pointing that way. You see what I'm saying? And then he pointed that way. But that's the pointing in that direction. Okay, now we got to figure out... Oh, he's going to move back there. Okay, so I move the last Jeep to 21.9 and have the infantry dismount. They move into the trees at 29. Okay, so is this the 29? Yeah, that's 29. So 29, what was he saying? 21.9. He moves that last Jeep to 21.9. Right, so he takes this Jeep and moves it down the road. moves it to there, right? And then he takes that Jeep, he dismounts these guys, we were going to do that, and then he takes that guy and he moves him in there. That's what he means by that. Okay. Alright, so that's parts of, I hope we're following this. We're not doing it 100% correct, but I'm sure we're getting there somehow. We've got these O's right, we've got those O's right. Sorry, we've got those O's right, we've got the leader right, we've got this unit in here. It's just this extra O's here there's this extra two things there. Okay, then they move into the trees and keep the Jeep continues to 28. Is it this one? Ah, okay. So we're gonna, now the thing is 20, the Jeep continues to 28 where it turns to face down the street. I use the buttons. Okay, so now he's using this button. So we press this button, we can look at his facing. You see where he's facing it. If we press this button here, see where the arrow is pointing. So it's now facing down the street. Okay, good. All right, and that makes sense. There we are. Where it turns to face down the street. I use the buttons as even Jeeps are a bit better protected when they are pointed towards the enemy. I then go back to the first Jeep. I move to 22.8 and move it to 23.8 to cover the area where we came from. Since I'm done moving, I'm going to have all my men go to ground. This will protect them if the Grenadians arrive, and the map looks like this. Okay, so what was that? 23.8, eh? Oh, so he's there. That's just one. Yeah. So that's 23.8. So, but we've got to make sure it's turned. So we will, we can, there we go. See, we've turned the Jeep to face that way. If you look at he's facing there. See the arrow there? And he made everybody go prone. So, prone. There we go. I bet it's not going to move again. Prone. So this is the idea. Prone. Prone is the idea. You must get all your troops, all your infantry, and all your all prone. Everybody's prone. That's important. This is prone, right? And the other guy is prone. Okay, so they're all prone now. You see all the whites? They're like hiding away. Good defensive position. All right, so okay, I'm going to end that portion of the turn and let the Grenadians do their thing. I do this by hitting the next turn button on the toolbar. When save as screen appears, give your game file name, click on the save button. Because ending your turn before you are ready is a kind of bummer, you might consider settings and ask, okay, I've set that. All right. During the Grenadian turn, the once visible Grenadians, a unit at 18 disappeared, and as I did not have a unit with a line of sight to that X. The other will remain visible until it has left my field of view and takes up another ambush position. It has been joined by an officer and swapped fire with my platoon sergeant. Luckily, he was on the ground and there's plenty of cover in the vicinity of the city train with a protection value of 24. The Grenadians were disrupted for their troubles as indicated by the yellow mark below the counter map. More on this shortly. At the beginning of told me that more division was available. Okay, so I'm gonna just see. I'm gonna read this till I'm not gonna. If I hit next turn now, which is that one, we will hit the next turn and then we'll advance for this turn to that phase. Okay, support is available, but nothing's come, and we didn't get any contacts, so yeah, so that didn't happen. The Grenadians were disrupted for their troubles as indicated by the yellow below the map counter. Okay. The command dialogue at the beginning of the turn told me that my mortar fire mission was available. I could try and fire it at the now hidden Grenadians, but my leader who would give the order can't see that area very well, and firing blind, especially this close to our own troops, is dangerous. So you must always have vision to the hex you want to fire, or ineffective. I'm going to let it lapse and call for it again next turn. In the meantime, I'm going to turn my scared jeep around to face the enemy and move the fire team in the middle of the road to the objective X alongside my sergeant. Okay, so he's talking about this, oh yeah. I want to just see when he moves that. It's important to try and keep your squads in larger scenarios and platoons somewhat close together in command and control for command and control reasons. If my troops become disrupted, pinned, or demoralized, they'll need to be adjacent or in the same hex as a squad platoon leader in order to recover. If one of my units has to become pinned, I would have to have a leader in the same hex and use the rally command, okay, to try and bring that unit back up to a disrupted status. Rallying costs 8 movement points. I have several law rockets. While they are fairly effective against infantry, they are my only anti-tank weapons. I don't want my men to fire them during the Grenadian turn at the infantry targets until I'm sure I'm not going to be facing any of those vehicles. Smart. To do this, I'm going to select the law rocket and then select toggle hold fire from the toolbar or the command menu. The fire label is replaced with hold label, and I'm going to do this for all my law rockets. The downside of doing this is I might miss a great opportunity for the AR to use them against the Cuban Grenadian vehicles during the turn. As I finish adjusting my defensive position, I hit the next turn. Okay, so let's do all that. I just want to see. I just want to make sure he hasn't moved into that hex. Oh, he might have. He might have. He's actually moved, and we forgot to move that. So we're just going to highlight that and move. Well, I don't know why we... Did we miss something here? There's like a... Something's gone wrong. I left the vehicle... I left a... Anyway, that's besides the point. I don't know why I left this behind. This is an M16. Why would he be left behind? I just highlighted and moved him in there. He's got an M16A. Maybe it was there, but he's got 7 moves. I'm not going to move him now. I'm going to take all these laws, and hold their fire. Command. And I'm going to hold fire. Boom. Like he said. All the laws, we're going to hold the fire. He's not firing a law. Control F. Hold fire. And all these laws, like he said. Yeah, they were supposed to move in here, but I didn't move in there. No, I hope they're all prone. I don't know if they're prone. Are these O's prone? Is this guy prone? Let me just double check. Okay, now he's prone. Now he's prone. So I didn't have him prone. I don't know why he left the weapon there. I must have done something wrong. But he's carrying an M16. And he's carrying one. Well, he left one behind here. I don't know why. M16, yeah, okay. I'm going to just... That's on hold. I'm going to do the same for here. Same for everybody. And I'm going to... That's going to go on hold. What was it? Hold fire, control. So I've put all these... here's another one of the laws. Sorry. Hold fire. So all these laws are now holding... Well, because now he's moved, I suppose. But I put hold fire there. I put hold fire there. And he hasn't got one. And I put him hold fire. So all of those are hold firing now. Okay. Yeah. And he told me to move this. Must have been early in the scenario, in the pages, yeah, and I didn't move him. Okay, but that's fine. I get that. You'll be asked to take what's visible. Where am I now? There is mortar fire available. So where is it? Okay, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to turn my scare jeep to face the enemy. It's important to try and keep the squads together, somewhat close together. Demilitarized. Several long and effective against. I don't want to fire. Okay, so we got that. As I finish adjusting my defensive position, I hit the next turn. Again, there's some fire going back and forth between the Grenadians, but their fire is ineffective. Despite having decent cover of their own, I'm happy with my position, so I once again call for company mortars and now the AC-2 gunship. I'm going to end my third turn. If I find it difficult to accept the Grenadians, if I find it difficult to accept that the Grenadians will allow me to cling to this reach stop for much longer. Okay, without some kind of stronger response. They managed to disrupt my fire team, but thanks to the nearby sergeant, that status has been recovered immediately. Since neither. So I'm going to end the turn. Yeah. Okay, still nothing. I'm going to call that that fire, artillery fire again. I'm going to call him. And I'm going to call him. So I've got them both called. So that's what he said. I hope I'm doing this right. What turn are we on? Hang on. It's turn 3. Okay, so we're going to have to end the turn again. No airstrikes were available. Suddenly there's no pressing need to advance. I end my fort. Suddenly the enemies cross. Okay, so the enemies are now appearing. So we're going to have to hit the turn again. End the turn. Oh, nothing. So. Alright, so there we go. Called and it's available. No, I can't. So I'm going to hit the turn again because there's nothing happening. Okay. Okay. So he destroyed my bloody Jeep there. That thing is completely wiped out. And there's nothing came down the bottom here. Okay. Suddenly the enemies across there, here by that Jeep, across the street, vanish. Pulling back into the forest, I then watch as 2 Grenadian BTR-60s armored personnel carriers advance on my position from the northeast. The gun jeep fires away and manages to mobilize one of the our gun jeep, enemy vehicles. The red X appears on the map counter when a vehicle is immobilized. But the infantry riding inside dismount and the firefight escalates, immobilizing the jeep as well. Wow, that jeep is finished. Here it is, destroyed. Wreck. The command dialogue for beginning of the turn 5 tells me the sword is available. I'm going to start my turn by calling for fire support with my leader. Fortunately, the enemy is bunched up in the same hex, but I have to be careful not to hit the disabled jeep. Well, I don't need to worry now because the thing is destroyed. When I open up the support dialogue again, both mortars and gunships are available. I click on the mortars. Let's just see if we got... Okay. Where's the thing at? Oh, so only okay, so I must call for that. Okay. This one's available. Only that's available. Okay, I'm just going to read first what it says we must do. The command for turn tells me the supporters. I'm going to start my turn by calling. Fortunately, the enemy just bunched up in the eggs, but I have to be careful not to hit the disabled jeep. When I open up both my mortars and gunships are available, I click on the mortars, and the grayed out call button changes to active target button. If I click on the target button, it'll bring up a targeting dialog. This shows the picture of the weapon. In this case, it's a M224 60mm mortar, and there are 2 drop-down menus below the picture. The left menu is for selecting the weapon we might want to use, as the same fire support platforms have more than one weapon. The right menu provides us with different types of ammunition. Okay, whereas the selected weapon can fire. 80 is for standard explosive. Illumination is ILM, round, a star shell or flare that we could use at night, and it's not applicable here. The WP is white phosphorus round, provides both smoke and a lethality value. It also provides illumination, but again, that's not what is important here. If you remember back to when we started, we were told that we had an allotment of, okay, that's right. We were told they had an allotment of 12 smoke rounds and 12 illumination rounds. The VP load, the WP load, is both a smoke round and an illumination round. Since our fire mission is 6 rounds, Americans times 6, M224 60mm, we can fire 2 missions of WP rounds. HE rounds are always unlimited. We need to decide whether we want to use WP or HE. HE rounds are effective against infantry, but not against armored vehicles. The BTRs are lightly armored, and we would have to get a lucky shot to destroy one with a 60mm mortar round. The BTRs have heavy machine guns with good penetration values that outrange our light weapons, so we might want to try and block their line of sight to our positions to force them to get closer. So what he's saying is, if we fire, see, we can't, I don't have that core mission, so I'll use the aeroplane one, but with a good tactic, we don't have the range of the BTRs like these guys. We can't do any, we don't have the weapons that can destroy them, but if we fire smoke, it'll force them to come closer to us. And then we can use our weapons. Clever, good infantry tactics. Yeah, so good penetration values that outrange our weapons. Yeah, you see there. We could try, force them to get closer. Okay, the resolution of artillery, resolution of artillery fire is a two-step process. The first step is to determine the target X and right-click on it with the weapon and load selected. If the target X selected by the player is in the line of sight of the leader, directing the fire, the actual target X can scatter randomly from that location depending on the quality morale of the leader. So the target X can scatter up to 0 hexes with an A-rated leader, 1 hex with a B-rated, and so on. If the target X selected by the player is not in the leader's line of sight, then the scatter can be increased by as much as 5 additional hexes. Wow! So while directing fire this close to our men, we need to be able to see the target. Very important, right? We see the target. Since the leader is an A-rated leader, the hex we select will also be the actual target hex. Yet even after all that, the weapon itself can scatter. With our jeep so close to the target, the chances of it being hit as well is fairly high. But the jeep's been wiped out, man. So we don't have a problem with the jeep. We have another option, the gunship. Not only are the airstrikes more precise in general, provided the leader calling the shot is high quality and has line of sight. So with artillery, it's like natural. You need quality leaders with a line of sight. You need to be able to see where the target is. But in this case, our gunship can fire armor-penetrating heat rounds that make short work of the BTR. These shells also don't have a significant splash damage by themselves. With luck, we can wipe out the whole group out before they can have a chance to destroy the jeep. The jeep's gone anyway. I tried the 105mm using heat first, but unfortunately the gunner missed the mark. This leaves craters in the adjacent hex, which would provide a small amount of cover for infantry, but slow down their movement. Plan B is to use the smoke to provide cover for my infantry to advance, so I target the BTRs with mortars instead. The mortar rounds scatter quite a bit. One lands directly on the target, but the VP round didn't pack enough punch to cause any harm. While things can always be better, I have at least isolated the lead Grenadian units from any additional units that may still be out of sight further north. Now I'm left with just small arms to return fire. When a weapon carried by a unit is selected, toggling it into fire mode. Well, let's just, you know what, we need to fire this weapon here. Okay, so this has got all the BTRs in it. So now we can, with our leader, he's got line of sight. There we go. He's got line of sight. He's past there, and he's got line of sight. He has line of sight. If you click on this, sorry, man, you can see the line of sight. Okay, so we got line of sight there. Now we're going to air artillery support. We're going to use that, and we're going to target. So there's the box he's talking about. It's just for the aeroplane, right? Or can we move that? Yeah. Now I don't know what to use it, but it says heat tack. So I'm going to, now if we right click, there we go. Didn't do it. And now we missed that. Let's get a leader. He's called already, so we can't use him again. Okay. Now, and I'm going to call him again as well, and I'm going to call this guy again. Okay, so there we go. We missed it. Okay, so now what is he using? Okay, when a weapon is carried by a unit selected, toggling into fire using the move fire mode toolbar button or control, holding the control down will change the mouse cursor into a crosshair. From here, right-clicking on a target with the unit's line of sight will result in opening fire. Many players find it easier to leave the move fire button off and use the control key. Yes, you can select weapons by double click on the unit, carrying them on the map, selecting all of the units and the weapons in their X, or left clicking on specific units and all the geez, you can deselect some of them by left clicking on them on them a second time. So he means this. So can we see there? Can he see? So he means we can, for example, here we can select that, we can take it off hold. Okay, we can select that's just that weapon to shoot, or both these weapons, or just that weapon by highlighting. So I'll give you an idea. So we select that, and we select, okay, but you select the leader, and we now control, see, I press the control, and then he shoots that. You see what I'm saying? That weapon's now fired. Now if we select all of we can see there is a hit. See the traces now. So he's firing all the weapons. You see, notice how the status of the leader goes down. His move goes down. The fire is 90. You see the fire now. The fire is fire 2, and it's 95%. Yeah, and then the leader status goes down. What did we hit? Well, we thought we hit. So that's just fire. Okay, so that's just the fire. Our mobilized G still has M60. It can use to fire point blank, but the threat of the opportunity fire means it will certainly be destroyed after doing so. We should save the attack for last if possible. I'm going to start with the fire team on 29 by double clicking on that X. I think I've just done that. Yeah, I did that. Okay, we'll do it again. Double click. The range of the law rocket is 4x's, so we could try hit those BTRs. Remember, right click and hold on the unit to see the range and penetration and lethality values. Yeah, okay, but that was a one shot. However, the lethality value of fire can drop dramatically with increased range. If I use my law rocket now, it'll be much less effective. Remember, that is removed once it's fired. Since I don't have a lot of these, I want to wait. We didn't wait. We shot. I want to wait until the enemy gets closer. In any case, that Jeep is blocking the way, and my men will not fire through it. We could try using the M203 grenade launcher which features the indirect fire. It's indicated by the asterisk, but it's only one weapon, and firing will cost us movement points, so that we could use for any other purposes. With rough forest on either side and open ground in the middle, it will take a long time to flank around for a better shot, or require a suicidal charge in face of hostile fire to reach the Jeep's location. It may have to be left behind after all. Okay, not wanting to go down without a fight, I select the squads, and then I hold down the control button and right click on the Grenadier squad. The traces run from the Jeep towards the enemy. The number of dashes indicates how much the fire, the weapon, and the unit and the weapon status has been degraded by the lack of ammo or enemy fire. In this case, there are 4 dashes, which indicates that it has not been degraded at all. In the target X, there's an explosion with red crosses and a 0 inside. This means that I did not cause any losses, but I may have degraded the enemy status slightly. If I look at the fire team, at my fire team in the list, I'll see that the number of movement points and fire count has decreased. It also costs 1/3 of your movement points to fire. So every time you fire is 1/3 off. You might also have noticed that the effectiveness of the M13 has dropped to 99. Your value might be slightly different. It will continue to decrease as I fire, representing reloading, finding more ammo, slowing down, slowing fire, finding more ammo, slowing fire as ammo gets low, and the increase in minor malfunctions as the weapon gets dirty. If the unit carrying the weapon does not move or engage in combat, this value will recover over time. I fire the grenade launcher 2 more times without any noticeable effect on the enemy troops. Okay, so what he means is this. See this 95%, that's from getting dirty, use in battle, but if you leave it, it recovers. And his moves is decreased every time I fire. It's like 1/3 of a move. So all of that has to be taken account. I'm going to shoot with this. Sorry. And we're going to try that. I'm going to hold the control. Still, there's no casualties. But you notice that the guys are yellow. See, he's disrupted. See there. See how he's disrupted. It's 6 men. So I must have killed something because he started with 8. But I've got no... And look what he's carrying. He's got an AK-47. He's got an RPG. See how brilliant this game is. All those weapons are being factored in. You see what weapons he's carrying. And he can shoot them when he wants. And this guy's... This is... Well, I don't know what weapon that is. But it's obviously for these BTRs. Okay. And what else? We don't know much else about him. That's about it. Okay. So I've fired that. Alright. So... Now, not willing to risk the rest of our forces over the Jeep. It's our own M60. It's our own M60 is the only weapon left to try. Oh, okay. Not willing to risk the rest of the forces over the Jeep. It's our own M60. Okay. After 3 shots with low effectiveness. Oh, he's shooting because he's shooting with his M60. Yeah, because he's alive. Ours is dead. Okay, that's why we caught. After 3 shots with low effectiveness, only traces. I haven't caused a single casualty to the Grenadian squad. That doesn't mean it's pointless. Units that are fired on, even if they don't take losses, can be disrupted. Movement costs twice as much and firing value is half. So it decreases their movement cost and their firing value. Or pinned, firing value is also halved. The unit can only move away from the enemy and becomes demoralized if it does, after which firing value is quartered. In the case of Grenadian squad, the Grenadian squad becomes pinned in place, if nothing else. Their return fire still didn't destroy the Jeep. Since I don't know what else their commander might have up their sleeves, I elect to keep my remaining units in the same locations and end my turn. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. I don't know. I'm still this weapon. Yeah, it's bothering me. I released the weapon or yeah. Okay. Let's take let's take that off. I want to see with this olive. I've called for that, eh? So we're gonna end the turn. Okay, let's end the turn. How many turns do we have left? So he's advancing. Support is available. Okay, let's just follow the scenario. Sure enough, the fighting becomes even more fierce. To the north, our brave little Jeep managed to blow up a BTR. Well, mine's finished, so it's not doing that. Only for a third one to roll into view. Luckily, the nearby squad pinned. With the nearby squad pinned, they cannot assault the Jeep by moving into the same hex. Somehow, in all the confusion, the BTRs failed to land a good hit, and the Jeep fights on with a status of only 25%. To the south, the Grenadian... See if there's anything else has happened. There's nothing come on this side, eh? We're going to have to switch this thing around. So I'm just going to do it... I'm just going to do it because I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to shoot, yeah. We might have to do it with that other jeep. To the south, the Grenadian squadron leader from earlier reappear and assault my jeep at 20. Okay, so that's down here. With a red cross appears. So red cross, when you see that red cross, that means that if it's 0 in the middle, no casualties. If there's a casualty in the middle, you cause the casualty. Okay. Yeah, to the south, the Grenada squadron leader from the earlier reappear and assault my jeep at 2012. When the red cross appears with 0 to indicate no losses were suffered by the attacker defender. However, the jeep becomes immobilized too, and the Grenadians lose a squad member to my fire teams back at the objective. The objective X is now, and its surroundings are actually 5 meters higher in elevation, allowing all of my troops to fire over the jeep at the enemy below. So what he means is, because these guys are, let's look at the elevation. City elevation 20, elevation 15, elevation 20, elevation 20, elevation 50. They can fire over the jeep because the elevation is where he's sitting here, it's lower, so you can fire over the jeep. Others wouldn't be able to fire through the jeep. Okay. Okay. Yeah, see, it's 5 minutes higher, allowing my troops to fire over the jeep at the enemy below. One important thing I haven't covered thoroughly is what happens if one of your units gets pinned. I mentioned it briefly above, but a little more information is helpful. If one of your units fails a morale check and becomes pinned, it will stay in that state until it is either self-rallies or a leader rallies it, or becomes demoralized. Units only self-rally in a turn when they have not been fired upon by the enemy. Okay, that makes sense. However, by spending 8 movement points, a leader can attempt to rally all pinned units or demoralized units in the same X. Leaders who are not part of the chain of command of pinned units have a significantly reduced chance of rallying the troops. To check to see if the leader is in the same chain of command, you can read the unit organization that is visible when you right click and hold on a unit. Okay, so you can see that. Even better, you can select highlight organization in the toolbar, or selecting highlight or in the view menu. Highlight organize in the view. It means this one. Show organization. Okay, that's fair. That just shows. That's nice. That just shows our. There we go. See that? See that? That just shows. Yeah. And this view, that's show organization. Let's just check here. And there is one here, highlight. So let me just, highlight. So it's these ones. Fixed units, spotted units, target units, berserk units, organization. So if we click this, okay, there's his organization. See, that's directly underneath him. If I highlight that, that's what's underneath him there. And that's the organization. Alright, so either way, from view or from the corner over there, you can see. And also, let me just, it's not going to take it. Oh, we can take it off by doing that. There's also, where's the leader? I'm just trying to think. Where's the leader? Highlights fixed unit, target units, command units. Yeah, that just highlights them. There's a highlight the leader's range. The target tab leader. I can't find it yet, but there's a button here to highlight. Like for example, his range. It's basically one hex. It's hex inside and hex near him. That's the leader's sort of command range, where he can rally units. Okay, so we did that. This will highlight all the units in the same organizer as selected you as a selected unit. If a leader is in the selected units, then all of the highlight units are in his chain of command. Leaders also help disrupted units remove that status, but again, only for units in their chain of command. As you can see, it's important to keep leaders close to their troops and help them recover from adverse. So they've got to be in their chain of command. Since from here out, it's very unlikely that our games will resemble each other. I'm going to let you play the rest of the game on your own. There are plenty of additional mechanics you can look into in the user manual, which can be reached from the file browser or the in-game help manual, or the F2. You should be able to. You should also be sure to review all the buttons on the toolbar by simply moving your mouse slowly across them. What each one does will be shown in the tooltip. Okay, feel free to save the battle, come back later if you want to do more exploring from this point. Whatever the battle file you save is given a name, identified it later for play. For example, if you could name your first game, and when you go back to that game, simply click open file from the file menu at the upper left, and then click on that. Okay, we know how to do that. He's talking about this, yeah. So I want to open. Well, I don't want to close this now, but I'll show you just now. Here's where you open it, and if you open it, then it comes up with a. I don't want the scenario just to close now. I want to play it, but if you open it, it comes up with your file name, and you can save whatever you want. That's just everybody knows how to. Most people know how to. When the scenario is over, the command report will pop up the message with a message that the time limit is up. Clicking on the K will then bring up the victory dialog. This box will show the losses for both sides, points awarded for objective captured, and the victory point values. Total points scored in the outcome. Keep coming back to the game. The BTRs are probably getting back to the game. Sorry. The BTR is probably the most significant threat. Remember to save your law rockets until the enemy gets close. Don't forget to keep calling in your support, which I'll be doing as well, and to experiment with different loads like gunship M61 can. Good luck. I've included the map at the end of the game and my victory screen. Hopefully you've done as well, if not better. When you finish this one, try to fight your troops through to the airport. When you finish this one, try to fight your troops through the airport using your support fires to help them clear the way. Feel free to use this scenario to try out different tactics and explore how the game works. That's what it's for. And so he's got his. See, those are coming through here. So there's all his losses. There's all the losses for the Cuban losses and the American losses. And yeah. He had 36 was his total. So he received a major victory. But here Oak's coming this way. Yeah, this way. We haven't got those oaks, just on this side. Okay, so let's fight this fight. Let's just see how we do here. I'm going to... Now there's a casualty there. I'm going to... Okay, so he's done. I've got a feeling... I've got the feeling. Let's bring this O. Oh shit, I actually want to turn him around. Oh, he's shooting at me. Okay, so we got opportunity fire there. I'm gonna bring him. And we're gonna... Okay, so we got no more points left. This is brilliant. I love this. And we got no more shots left here. Okay, moves nothing. I'm going to leave him here. I'm going to shoot with this guy. I'm going to use all his weapons. Okay, so there's nothing in there. He's firing this. There's these M103s as well. What about the weapon? Can we... Oh no, this is not a... There's no... Oh, he is. So we just want to see... select weapon load. So we can have canister as well. Let's fire the canister and see if we can get... I'm just practicing here. So that's canister. Okay, there's no... Oh, he's got no moves. He's don't have enough moves. Okay, so let's end the turn here. Can these O's fire? Trying to get all those O's from there. And I'm coming with the... I wonder if I should turn this around. I'm going to turn this one around. This Jeep. Oh, sorry, man. I'm going to turn him around. What's his vision? What can he see from there? Oh, he can't see anything. I'm going to... If I turn him one more around... No, he has to turn him around. I'm going to leave him there. Anybody else here? No, I'm going to keep those O's over there, guarding over here, because you never know he's going to come that way. Alright, so let's end the turn. Okay, so I want to open up the... Okay, did we destroy it? Yeah, we got it. We got the BTR. There's a casualty there by us. Okay, that's brilliant. Oh, it's 7. Okay, support is available. I'm gonna try and, just for the purpose of the video. Okay, so he's not available. I thought he was available. Okay, I'm gonna... Wait, hang on. How do we do it? We call for artillery support, and we are available, and we call target. Right. So I'm going to not target here because, look, you can see here, but the target here is very close to all our troops. So I'm just going to use the... We'll use the VP. No, let's use the normal. And we are going to right click. I'm not mistaken. Let's see that thing. Didn't he hit it? Oh, he hit there. He's supposed to hit it. Shit. Okay, he hit it for target, but he hit quite a bit. He's hitting around there, eh? Yes, man. Alright, so we need to take these weapons off. Well, no, I don't have those weapons. I'm going to shoot. He's still got these. I thought he had a... Can he see? Now, he can't fire this. We'll keep him on hold. Yeah, he can't see, huh? What's the vision there? No. Okay, so let's just keep it on the vision so we can see. What can he see there? He can see the weapons. Okay, so let's have a look here. Hey, I don't know, man. Alright, so I'm going to shoot with this. I'm shooting with it. Oh, control. Maybe suppressing him at least. What's the vision like over there? Oh, you can still see him. Okay, he's firing the mortar in there. But nothing. See his weapon. Now we can fire one more time, I think. See, 91. See, move. Still move. Can I fire one more time? Okay, so we'll leave him. I can, I suppose, but I'm not going to. Okay, so I'm going to... see if I can bring that down to there. Let's keep damaging that. Can he? No, he can't. He's going there. He can shoot there. Okay. I think we can shoot one more. Oh, we can shoot one more time. I've got him. Oh, he can't see that guy. Okay. See, he's pinned, yeah. See, he's pinned. So he's stuck, and that's a wreck over there. He lost his... I don't know how I lost this one rifle. Shall we shoot again? I'm sure we can shoot this. You see, you can switch off weapons. And you can only fire with that one. You can change the weapon loadouts. So if you look here, this has got a 2. So if I now decide to... Okay. Wait. If I just decide to change the weapon... select the weapon load, I can put canister there. And I think... he can't shoot it. He's got no moves. But I can change it to canister. But I'm going to keep it because I don't know what canister does. Or canister. We'll leave it at canister. Alright, let's hit the next turn. Okay, so he was coming there. This is brilliant, eh? Can't believe how good this is. I haven't played this. Can't believe how great this game is. I forgot how great it is. Alright, so we're going to try and... I know it's not going to be successful, but we're going to try and... Okay, I'm not too worried about this. But we'll come back there. We want to get this BTR out. So I'm going to... We're going to use the leader and we're going to call for artillery. So it is available. I'm going to use the American airstrike. Oh, sorry, man. I've got to remember... that I've got to select it and then click target. And we're gonna... Yeah, we're gonna right click. So he did nothing. So what if we target the... Shit, man, where am I now? Yeah, I've got to get used to this. Okay, that is available. What if we target with HE? We won't pick that other illumination. We'll just pick HE. Hey, it's not on target. Eh? It's like shooting around it. Oh, geez, there we go. You gotta be careful, eh, where you shoot with this. And he's an A-grade leader. Isn't he? Isn't he an A-grade leader? Where do we see that? No, he's A-grade. He's A-grade. There he is. He's an A-grade leader. And he's not... the stuff gets degraded as you move along. Yes. Okay, so... I'm going to shoot with this. I kept that on hold. So this is going to shoot there. Oh, it's getting return fire. So I'm going to shoot these O's there. Should be. He's in open terrain there. Yeah, okay, but that's not... It's clear. So I should... See, my weapon's getting degraded and I can't shoot anymore. He's pinned. I must get him pinned. But we... Okay, so he's out. Okay, let me just see if I can highlight. This machine gun is not doing anything to these BTRs. Must be doing something to him, putting him. He hasn't put him in any. I want to get this. He's still firing with that. Okay, so we're done with him. Can he shoot at these? Oh, he can, because he's in the way. So I love it how the weapons gets degraded as you shoot. No, we're basically done with that. Okay, so we're done with all our moves there. And we did call in... oh no. Yeah, we've called them. Okay, so this is now... This is the last turn. Let's end it. Let's end the turn. So as he moves, we hit him. Hey, I forgot how good this game was. I really... I forgot how good this game was. Yeah. All up, it's super to fire. So we've got a casualty. He's moving prone, eh? Okay. Now he's got some more units up here. Has he got? Hey, he's got a couple of BTRs coming down there. We just got the one there. Okay, so yeah, we got 22. It's a minor defeat. Okay, so we did make it. He had a major victory, but it didn't play out the way we did. The Jeep was destroyed here already. So it's a minor defeat. It's below minor victory, 22. Well, it's a draw. It's a draw. Yeah, he's written it as a draw. So it's a kind of a draw. It's not a minor defeat. It's between 13 and 25, so it's a draw. Now, Cuban losses. Men lost points. His vehicle lost points 6. Wonder when it's on this side. Oh, men losses and the points. And then we lost 4 men, and then the points for the vehicle lost 3, and the vehicle point loss. It's large with the vehicle point loss, eh? 20 points. Yeah, I forget. I don't remember how great this game is since I'm starting to play it again. I mean, I used to remember this is like 16, 15 years ago that I played this, and I remember this squad battles and Vietnam and this type of thing, and I never took notice of it. But now that I remember how good a game this is, it's just, yeah, it's coming back to me now how really good it is. And I love the abstraction, the simplicity of it. Like you've got your... nothing really too complicated. What you've seen here is what you've got. You've got your reliability, your range, your lethality, and you can fire individual weapons and hold individual weapons. And then you got your guys, and basically your leaders, they've got a radius of control, command, and then anybody within there falls in that can be rallied. And then all your leaders have got different capabilities, like they valued, like this is a corporal, he's a B leader. Just go to the little things here, and then the weapons are valued for range, lethality, and penetration. That's how simple this game is. And you also have elevations and penetration values, and you just got to watch for that. No dice throwing, no complicated charts to look at, no how the round the corner rockets, no long bloody working out of how quicker oak moves, and none of that crap. None of that crap you see in all these complicated little war games that take you with 100 rules. This is a simple game, and it's just based on the weapon systems, the lethality of them, and what they move is incorporated. Your movement is incorporated in your firing. So from your movement rates, you take off the firing, you add off you subtract the fire. So everything moving around the movement points, different terrain moves. But what I really love about this is the weapon systems, how the weapons have been implemented on them. So your squads carry certain weapons, and they can fire them all. You can select one to fire. You can change the ammunition, and your squads are just rated on morale, status, and their status decreases. The weapon value decreases as you shoot, and then the status decreases, and you can get into pinned, where you lose all that status, disrupted, and that's it. That's really, okay, I'm simplifying it, but that's the core of the game. That's all it is. I mean, I've been playing it now. I've been moving it around, and it's easy to play. I'm moving, you can see. I'm moving around, sending my guys here and whatever, just to get used to the moving part. But this is the core of the game. And then there's just little added nuances here and there. Fantastic, man. This game is off the charts. This squad battles from John Tiller, squad battles. Yeah, it's off the charts. Anyway, that's our tutorial. I'll be doing all the tutorial, getting started tutorials for all these games, like the Panzer campaigns and the Panzer battles and all that type of stuff. So I'll do all those getting started tutorials. So this is just the one for the squad battle, so you can see how just the basics of it, and then you're set. All right, Sean from Combat Simulations. Please subscribe to my channel. It's free. And also leave comments and suggestions. And watch my videos and like them and share them. Helps me a lot. Until our next video, good day on you.